Hello to my fellow peace seekers. Welcome to this casual channel where we lean into the joy of life and highlight the value that it has to show us. This video is a little bit unusual because it's like not really that joyous. It's not really focused on joy, but it does have a lot of value in it. So I wanted to kind of get into the discourse that is people speaking on their experiences being Black in suburbia. Oh God, uncomfortable. Oh my God. Okay, I'm not going to make this really long. I kind of wanted to just highlight some things that have been in my mind about this because other people are speaking about it as well. So, if you don't know, I grew up moving around a lot. I'm also adopted, originally born in Uganda, but moved around a lot, ended up somehow in the Chicago suburbs, Wheaton, Illinois, for 7th grade, and then majority throughout high school. So a portion of 8th, well, all of 8th, and then a portion of 9th grade was spent in a Chicago charter school, but I'd say that a lot of me was formed in the suburbs of Chicago, in this conservative, more financially stable suburb of Wheaton. If you know, you know, but like, it's, God, I feel even uncomfortable thinking about it. Like, I consider that somewhere where I grew up, but I also do not feel welcome there. Wow, I really do not feel welcome there. And there are just a couple of reasons for that. And I also have to mention, I think that a lot of people that are talking about the idea of being Black in suburbia have similar experiences and are like, I feel like I need to stress the intersectionality of this experience, my experience being Black in suburbia, because I am adopted by white Americans. So I feel like that differs in the broad experience of being somebody with African American descent who is Black, living in who comes from a Black family, being a Black family in a predominantly white suburb, I think is a completely different experience than my experience. But there are so many like crossovers and things that will bleed into what I'm talking about as well. But I just kind of wanted to make that known because intersectionality is so important. But when I was a child, intersectionality was not something that existed. Like, it was not something that people grasped. It was like something that I knew because it was like, okay, the white kids are saying I'm not really Black, but then it's like they're not taking into consideration that I literally just moved here from Rwanda. From like a place that I am like, I'm not integrated into what it means to be a Black American because I've just been observing, like, I'm not like, I'm an immigrant. I know I talk like this because I'm adopted, but like, I'm also an immigrant. And that's another thing is like, when I talk about experiences in America, I still feel like an outsider looking in, like a lot of the time. I think my voice and mannerisms make it seem like, oh, that's an American. I still feel like, to my core, no matter where I go, I'm not in the communities. If I go to Rwanda or Uganda, I am an outsider observing. Here, I am an outsider. And I know that a lot of people feel that when they're in predominantly white spaces. Or predominantly spaces that like they are integrated into the communities. That's really just what I'll say. Well, that's what I'll say there. Intersectionality is incredibly important. So, the first time that the most distinct time of living in the suburbs was when I was in the 7th grade, and my family was like, I feel like new to being poor. Not poor. Okay. There have been several times in my life where my family did not really, well, to me as a child, I wasn't worried about money. I wouldn't consider us poor until being in the Chicago suburbs in 7th grade. And my parents would just not let up on just how poor we were. Like, just consistent, like just making it known that we were really poor. But it was really hard to like come to terms with that, being in a suburb that was so financially stable. Oh my God. And so then being like a kid poor in the suburbs, trying to like integrate to people who cannot relate to my experiences was like really tough, and nobody really, not nobody, there have been some people in the suburbs that like I genuinely feel like made my life so beautiful and were so sweet. But like as it relates to fitting into a system, I think the epitome of why being black in suburbia is so uncomfortable, no matter if you're an immigrant, no matter if you are like African American and like been there forever, no matter like what your heritage is, it's because you're trying to, no matter like what minority you are, you're trying to appeal to a majority who is having difficulty understanding like you as a person. So like for a long time, black in suburbia to me was uncomfortable because I was trying to really sell my value being my proximity to whiteness. So like when white kids would throw out me being an Oreo and being like, oh, we like Ruth because she's not really black, I wouldn't even like be offended by that. I would just wear it as like a badge of honor and be like, yeah, I'm the Oreo. I'm the token black friend. It's so disgusting and annoying that I'm actually thinking about that right now. Um, but like when you're a child, you do anything to capitalize on the value that people see inside of you. And when the value is, I'm going to play up the things that you find digestible about me, that, that's what me and my therapist talk about every single week. That's what me and my therapist talk about all the time. Being black in suburbia is undoing what made you survive being black in suburbia, to be honest, in my opinion. God. And like, I don't know, it just is so embarrassing. And I try not to feel too much shame because I was just a child. I was just a child trying to survive and trying to fit in. But it is really sad that you internalize, like I internalize things that like 13-year-olds and 12-year-olds said to me and said about me and took them on as if like my life depended on it, because my social life kind of did, even though like I was introverted, I wasn't cool, like I, you know, but like for your survival and your likability, you take on the things that people like about you, even when those things aren't good and they're not authentic. Especially being a black woman, like tampering down the things that people expect of you, especially anytime I would get angry or annoyed, I would really try to like not highlight that. And then at a certain point in high school, I just got tired of doing that thing. I really got tired of trying to be digestible. That I just was like, if I'm angry, I'm gonna be angry. Like if I'm mad, like if I feel something that's authentic to me, I'm just gonna do it. And then it not backfired. And then it created the reaction of like people rolling their eyes whenever I used to get angry at for like rightful things, like me hearing the N-word by a white kid in the hallway. I used to sometimes walk up to them and be like, why would you say that? Because you have to make people feel uncomfortable and put them in their place so that they know what the heck they're saying, you know. And then they stop doing it, especially around the presence of black people, because there's just a lot of black people that are fine with that type of behavior going by because their value is in how cool they, you know, they are with like casual racism, with casual things that like should not be acceptable. Woo! I don't want to get myself more heated, but this is just something that like I feel like I've needed to talk about in a very real way. One of my best friends has the same exact experience kind of as me, being an adopted black person in the, like we grew up in the same suburb, at least for like a specific time. And it just feels good to know that other people are hopping on the trend of speaking of the discomfort of being black in suburbia. Woo! And that's kind of all I wanted to say. There's really not much else that I can include. I was gonna say, if you see this, please give me a like, subscribe, comment. This is gonna be kind of one of those that I think I'm just gonna leave. And so people can witness it as like a journal type thing. Because, just because, like I don't really need input because I'm seeing other people like relate and validate. I kind of just want to like throw this up there and see what the heck. No, throw this up there and just let it be. So if you appreciated this, please let me know. Somewhere else, I might not even turn on comments. I might just like straight up leave it. wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is. I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or night.